Greetings, everyone. This is Koku from the Bitter Medicine Podcast, inviting you to tune in to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
Peace, family. This is Oni, inviting you to listen to the pro-black perspective, where black problems are addressed with black solutions.
Welcome to episode 21 of the Harsh Reality Podcast. I'm your host, DA, and I'm joined by my esteemed co-host, the one and only Mr. L. Miguel.
You're
back in the building. Yeah, I'm about to say, shit, motherfuckers on leave, goddammit. But welcome back, bro. Good to hear from you. And unfortunately, our director of media relations and our resident fact checker Rise on maternity leave. So get better and go ahead and drop that seed, drop that big head, baby. And so on this podcast, we plan to hit on various topics revolving around the latest news, business, family, life, hip hop, social commentary, and any recent headlines that may affect our community. Disclaimer, as always, we are not experts, just everyday people with a small platform here to add our 2 cents to the various subjects we plan on discussing. And also make sure y'all follow the Harsh Reality Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get those numbers up. Looking skimpy over there on Twitter. Get us up. So firstly, let's shout out Melanated Conscious Society, MCS, headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, is a mentorship organization teaching various life skills as well as knowledge of self to our youth. Make sure y'all follow them on Facebook and Instagram for the latest news, meetings, and valuable information. Shout out to Caparel. Also, shout out to our KWAZ radio family. KWAZ providing the latest and greatest and conscientious-oriented content. Make sure I go follow them on all forms of social media, as well as subscribe to the Bitter Medicine Podcast, hosted by Koku and the Pro-Black Perspective, hosted by THOT Sh. Shout out to Koku. I'm supposed to go on his live later and talk about some conscious community type of issues. So, and lastly, the podcast is now on Patreon. Please donate, and of course, all proceeds go to upgrading the show, providing the best content we can for our loyal listeners. And if you're looking to be featured in our business spotlight, make sure y'all reach out to the show and drop an email at theharshrealitypod@gmail.com. Now, without further ado, let us get into the topics we got here. And our first thing we got on the docket, brother, is the Kwame Brown Chronicles. Basically seeing is he emerging YouTuber, emerging black media star, or is this hype mostly driven by, the beefs with who was it, Matt Barnes over there, or Steven Jackson, God, Boyce Watkins. It's a couple beefs over there. So throw it to you first, man. What do you think? Is it a legit movement, you think? Is it gonna be a longevity type of deal? Or do you think people just tapping in because people like beef?
Oh, and also we got throwing Stephen A. Smith, because he either Stephen A. Smith where Stephen A. Smith made a whole 10-minute segment about Kwame Brown.
Oh, Stephen A. Smith, the biggest hater in the world, man. You can't trust nobody with a big forehead like that. Get you a call
here nor there, but I actually like what Kwame was saying. Because I think as men, we live in a society where we operate in such a manner where people forget that you could get punched in the face. And he pretty much was setting his boundaries. I think, a couple of the early videos before he started podding every day, recording every day, he was just asking to keep, his name out his mouth in a negative light. And actually, because I think Kwame Brown for years was always a joke when we looked at, he was always the joke of, like, when we talked about basketball, but, he said some real meaningful and insightful things that made me look at it in a different perspective as a black man, and even joking on his name, that he made it as a high schooler, and the less than 1% of people ever make the NBA. And as a high schooler, 18-year-old kid, he made it to that level.
Number one,
got to play with some greats. So, at the very least, why do we celebrate him not having a career like Kobe or LeBron? Like most players don't have those careers, and I think he was just saying, I'm a man first, and stop playing with me. And they kept playing with him, and he ethered everybody. He is undefeated across the board, with some kind of big names. Even Charlemagne issued an apology, and we don't see that much. But when they started bringing up that rape case, they started bringing up that rape case, and the Breakfast Club is a big platform, and I guarantee you they probably brought him into a meeting. They probably figured out what they was gonna have to do just in case the media made them reopen the case. And cancel culture, that if it would have prolonged, Breakfast Club might have been ruined. So I think they made him apologize. And so for that, kudos. I'm calling him Killer Quad, because he ethering, Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. I don't really give him. I never really gave. I like what they're doing on the pod. I actually watched the pod, All the Smoke, a lot. I'm a big basketball guy, but you let Derek Fisher pipe down your wife, and you lost
what though? What's they I watched it a little bit. I used to watch it. I was a bigger fan before. But then once Matt Barnes started capping for old Joe, I was like, man, what? Going hard in the paint too. You know what I'm saying? Once you start going hard on a political type of issue and things like that, which we know that, our community, that neither side has really shown up but shown out for us. So once you start capping for, this dude, it's like, you looking suspect to me. You already, Becky with the good hair, like old boy was saying. So it's like,
what Quad said? He said, you don't know which side to operate kind of under. Is this the black side talking or the white side talking? Like, he was. I like, because I crack. When I'm cracking jokes, I go straight for the jugular. I don't do the tiptoeing around and the wonder shots. I'm going for the kill. So that's kind of what I like about Kwame. Like, he go for the kill. He said, "What you say, Charlemagne? And you took a plea deal for a rape charge. Like you pled guilty to sexual assault, essentially.
exactly.
And it's kind of like we idolize these people, and then I won't say, because there's articles that say like, is Charlemagne and Bill Cosby 2.0. Let's not compare Bill Cosby to Charlemagne the God, because I think there are two situational things. For one, the girl was 15 in the case, and he admitted on interviews of using Spanish fly, pouring it into females' drinks. And Kwame Brown, as a man, like, I think as men, we should be looking at that like, nah, bro, you're not good over here. Like, we shouldn't even allow him to talk about any black man in media until, period. Not even until anything, period. Because you assaulted one of your own.
But then he kind of bragged. If you listen to his story on I forgot the podcast he got with the other comedian.
Andrew Schultz, right?
Yeah, Andrew Schultz. He's funny as hell. But if you listen to the way he's telling the story, he's telling it like he just met like a jump off at the club type of deal. Like, me and the homeboys, blah, blah. This is a 15-year-old girl you picking up and taking to a party that you knew was 15. You know what I mean? And giving alcohol and a Spanish fly. And like,
he admitted to having sex with her too. He was like, hey, he finished doing the boop, blah, 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 and my man was trying to train her and all this shit.
Yeah, that's not normal. That's some creep stuff, bro. Using your 20s. Why you picking up a 15-year-old? And that's kind of why I was listening to the dude Tommy Sotomayor when he was talking about it, and he was like almost defending the dude, like, oh, the mom let you go, but the mom let her go with this 20-year-old dude. And I'm like, bro, any dude, any male coming on as a father with daughters, any dude coming on here defending any kind of rapist, talking about the mom let, bro, you cancel, bro. You on the on-site list. You know what I mean? You need to get smacked up for that, bro. Excuse not I don't condone physical violence. Just theoretically you need to be smacked up on your pod.
I do. You know,
for the algorithms.
No, but what I'm saying is that, you know, if a 20-year-old man is talking to my 15-year-old daughter, there will be physical violence.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and I hope the algorithm don't pick that up and take that as you know, I'm out here looking, but you know, I have a daughter now, and I'm not allowing a 20-year-old man to try to court my 15-year-old daughter. That's statutory rape, and there will be on-site physical violence to any degree that needs to, you know, that I need to protect my daughter. And that's why I really like what Kwame Brown was doing, was that he brought it back to circle. Like, why are y'all attacking me? Exactly. There's so many bigger issues that you with these platforms that y'all could be talking about as Black men. Why are you attacking another Black man? Isn't that part of what we always say we need to stop doing? And that's what he brought to the forefront from the get-go. And then they kept trying to bring it back to like, yo, you were joking basketball.
Yeah,
like
you a boss.
Yeah, like, and he just like, yo, stop playing with me, you know? Like, and then Charlemagne made him the donkey of the day and start talking about personal stuff like, oh, he from my hood, his family from my hood, this and that. Yeah. And you know, you now you talking about people family.
Yeah, and you don't do that
on a probably one of the biggest media platforms in the nation, you know, if not the biggest. And Kwame Brown either them. So I'm gonna say bona fide star. If we have to pick one star, or is it like a, you know, I'm not saying he's not bringing the beef to people. They bringing it to him, and he just hitting them with that winky right defense. You know, it's unpenetrable. You know, pause. But you know, I like what he did because he brought it back full circle to supporting one another, to loving one another.
Yeah, he's if you listen to him, he's bringing it back to his main tenets is just being a man, being, you know, accountable for your actions, kind of one of the later on things, which everybody should be able to rock with. But the thing that got these people so scared is you're dealing with somebody who essentially has nothing to lose at the end of the day, right? Kwame is not he's been chilling on driving his tractor, driving his trucks, raising his kids, you know, chilling in the country, right? I never forget. I think every Black parents gave their kid this, well, every parent almost period gave this kid their advice is, you know, kind of jokingly, never fight an ugly person because they got nothing to lose, right? Yeah. You find somebody who ain't got nothing to lose, right? Find somebody in Kwame Brown who's didn't really strive to be, I don't think, a reality or influencer or anything of that nature. So he coming out throwing haymakers. What he got to lose? He chilling. And as he tells his truth, tells what, you know, people want to hear and gets in his bag, he gets more followers. He gets more influence. So guess what? He gonna keep going. So that I think that got these people shook a little bit. And that's part of it too. And you can't even really call the man a bust. Like I said, where Anthony Bennett at right now, yo? Another number one pick. Exactly. What did he make 3-4 years? You had Kwame Brown making 13 seasons, and that's 13 years of getting paid millions of dollars.
Look at Eddie Robinson. I don't know, you remember Eddie Robinson?
Yeah, he played for the Bulls for a little while.
By the Bulls, you know, he was a physical specimen coming in, and I don't even know what happened to him. He played like he was on like 2 NBA lives and then disappeared. You know, like I was looking for him, put him in my lineup.
But look at all these dudes supposed to be success. Darius Miles was highly touted.
He got hurt. He had that bad injury, you know.
That's what happened to him. Yeah, but even then, though, it's not guaranteed, even off injuries. If you want to go Brandon Roy, who had injuries, and he was cold.
Yeah, he was nasty. He would have been all time. He was like Jamal Murray, really.
No, he would have been Hall of Famer, dude. I watched that dude when he hit like 7 threes in a row. When I was like, who the hell?
And staying on the Blazers, Greg Oden. You know, Greg Oden, super dominant in college, but he was hurt all through college and had a short career. You know, so yeah, like and you know, we're talking about basketball. You know, and it's like you know, and then it's like, you know, if I crack a joke and it's offensive as a man, if somebody tells me that and what he's doing is setting the boundaries, and you choose to continue to cross that boundary, then it is what it is. And you know, what I found kind of interesting is that everybody that was on the try to kill Kwame in the media thing all tried to take the high road when he started getting personal. You know, to me, it's like they kind of it shows you that, you know, they were like, oh, my breadwinner in jeopardy, right? He ain't had nothing to lose, but he started going after real personal stuff that you don't want in the big main white media. That's the thing. Like, you know, the Charlemagne the God thing wasn't publicized in white media, or it would have been some shit. You know, it would have been some, you know, like it was publicized, but not too crazy. You know, like now we've seen, you know, cases reopen like recently a lot, and the fact that they haven't reopened that case despite audio evidence of him admitting it is shows you that there's a machine, you know, working behind Charlemagne, and probably even all the smoke too, you know. ESPN.
Oh yeah, well, Charlemagne got good lawyers, man. He know about statute of limitations. That's the only reason he's talking about it right now. He's not even trying to censor himself. He's telling the whole story on podcast. He knows about the statute of limitations. Anything outside of murder, it's a statute of limitations on that sucker. So I wanted to say that girl that's 15, she's about 40 now. So I'm sure the statute of limitations is up. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna tell my story. And honestly, like Kwame said, man, he's making too many people too much money. At one point, I must say they had that seat of God on everything, man. He was on Catfish. He got his own iHeartRadio with the Breakfast Club. He got the podcast. He got his own podcast network distributed to iHeart. You know what I mean? He's just making way too many people too much money, and it's more beneficial to have him out here, you know. And look at who they get on there. Like, you can't even get people can't get interviews with, you know, vice presidents on there. Presidents, presidential candidates, all these politicians and things like that. That's not by design. These people not going anywhere where they haven't gotten the green light. That's powerful money back there. You feel me? So they not gonna let this dude mess. They're not gonna let Kwame Brown come along and mess up anybody's bread. So, you know, salute to Kwame, man. Like, honestly, he's spitting his truth, man. I know kind of Oni was kind of hypercritical of him, like, oh, this is what he called, I forgot what he said, but I'm like, bro, if this dude is moving people to question the mainstream, question the narrative, I'm all for it. I don't care how eloquently you put things, how crude or crash you may be. If you get people to think, man, period, which is a rare thing these days, I'm all for that, man. If you get people to think outside the box and question, you know, why these people are leaning this certain way, why these politicians choose to go on this platform and not this platform, why different people, you know, allowed to, you know, do things that would get anybody else 50, 60 years behind the joint. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all for that.
I'm all for him being, you know, he doesn't talk about it much, but, you know, being a father, and doing what he needs to do for the Black community, from a family perspective. You know, these are things, you know, a lot of these athletes be having white wives, and, you know, the transfer of wealth. I mean, a lot of our wealth are in athletes and entertainment. So it's like, you know, if we going to brag about your status, well, you know, make sure that your community gets something back, right? And because if you die, well, where does that money go to? And where does that money circulate? It ain't circulating in Black communities, that's for damn sure. So, you know, holding true to, you know, what you're saying, right? Like, and like, you know, Charlemagne the God, he say a lot of gay stuff on homosexual stuff, you know, where there's nothing wrong with being a homosexual, but he play around with it where,
it's different when you're a married man running around married to a woman and you on playing all this gay innuendos, particularly about people who don't play about that type of stuff too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know, so it's kind of like, you know, that's where I kind of like Kwame for setting a boundary. Like, I think that's what a lot of where all of this over uber political correctness come from, is that when a line gets crossed and it's too far to come back from, then you get cancel culture. You know, I think, you know, more boundaries need to be set. But everybody wants full boundaries, but you got to have some boundaries somewhere. And they just picked the wrong one with Kwame Brown. Maybe they should have stuck with like Eddie Curry or somebody. But Kwame was having having no, he wanted all the smoke. He might as well just steal their podcast name.
Yeah, he got 20 years of frustration built up. He ain't playing no games. He got smacked around by Jordan and Doug Collins yelling at him. And
that Jordan had to be PTSD. Like some of the stuff he was saying Jordan was making him do. It made me look at Jordan. It made me even look at Jordan. I knew Jordan was an asshole, but it made me look at Jordan in a different light. Like, damn, bro. Because even Jerry Stackhouse was like, yo, I wish I never played with Jordan. You know, and it's like, damn, you got grown men like really still hate this dude.
Oh, you never meet your heroes, yo. I think that's a saying. Like when you meet your heroes, man, it's a terrible, terrible thing. Sometimes it's like, oh, you're just an asshole, yo. You're just a human being who's good at one thing. You're not really an actual God like I envisioned you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you thought he was gonna be embracing, like, yo, let me be a mentor. And Jordan's like, yo, go wash my socks.
Yeah, I'm going to casino. Go pick up all the basketballs in the gym, punk.
Yeah. Exactly.
So let's go ahead to the next.
You a star, bro. I might even go to look for Kwame.
Oh man, look here. We don't want. Hey, they say all the smoke. We don't want no smoke, Kwame, bro. He's smoking cats. So salute to the brother Kwame. Keep dropping them bombs. Let's go to the next joint, though. I'm gonna skip over the financial. We're gonna come back to that because while we on this kind of media wave, let's go to the debauchery. Continues with the Meg the Stallion, releases a new video. THOT Sh. And let's go back. I think we hit the subject before, but the over-sexualization of Black women continues. You got some critics, and you got some fans. So going back to the El Miguel, who's father of a daughter. What do you think of the direction? And do you think it's being overblown? Is it for adults? People overreacting, or is it a trend of over sexualization of particularly the Black women?
I'm just going to take a moment to say I actually like Meg the Stallion's video. I mean, it is what it is. But I think what's in the wise word of one of my favorite songs of all time, don't save them, they don't want to be saved, like this is just because what I feel like is happening is that the more you try to get women that choose to ignore the data, the analytics, the facts, and ignore what men want, what men desire, and also what men need, right? Because that's what we're really talking about. Women are doing what they want to do, but we're the over-sexualization impacts men, and because what happens is these women market themselves for everybody, and men don't really want women that's accessible by everybody. And what happens is that while Megan Thee Stallion is probably even engaged, I don't know if she's engaged, but a lot of these people be engaged behind the scenes, being like these full-term relationships. She got these women out here still talking about Hot Girl Summer Part 2, and it's messing up the purpose, our purpose. I think everybody has their own career purpose, but our purpose is also to procreate, and I really believe that. As a father, I never really wanted kids, but I see what all of our purpose is as far as procreation. But the over sexualization, I don't listen to Megan Thee Stallion like that. I'll watch the video, but I'm not going to the title and typing in Megan Thee Stallion. I would have to assume the majority of her audience are women. And I mean, the problem is that it's not Megan Thee Stallion influencing women, it's women wanting to be influenced, right? I think like I can go listen to Griselda and not want to go cook something up in the kitchen, I feel like we can't blame the over sexualization of women in media, because I think women, even when you go back and you look at old Pam Grier movies, right? Like Pam Grier was just super exploited in media, by black media too, in black media, her boobs is always out, just out, or she's getting beat up or raped, damn near raped, so but I think what's happening is that women are really believing the message in these songs and in these, in this entertainment. And it's driving the red pill community insane, because at the end of the day, when these women hit that wall, I think the men get tired of hearing, there ain't no men out here. All these men ain't shit. These so many gay men out here, and it's like we get tired of hearing the excuses as a whole, when we're the afterthought to the behavior. Like men, it's almost like the message is, let me be a hoe well into my 30s and then I'll settle down. It's like, nah, it don't work that way, so I don't think I have to go with the approach I don't know if women have ever not been over sexualized as far as black women. But is it going to change? No, because there's a big bag involved, and Megan looked good. If her video came on right now, I'll be locked in to the next video came on. Like, I would watch the whole video.
I mean, it's not like women haven't looked good throughout the years. That's not really the focus. You know what I mean? The focus is like, all right, is that what your daughters are striving to be? But honestly, if your daughters are, idolizing what they see on media, your daughters are on media too much, right? That's when you have to take some kind of accountability. If your daughters look up to you or their mom or their dad like they're supposed to, then you don't really have to worry about these examples that's in the media, because you done told them what's up with this. This is a Viacom, this is a BET type of thing, this type of deal. For every one Meg the Stallion is some chick in a bottom budget strip club, stripping for dudes that's throwing 5-1s. You know what I mean? Not even getting rent money about that joint, right?
But even so too, though, right? Like, look at Simone. Like, I was so keeping on the topics of like influencing little girls. I showed my daughters in gymnastics. I showed my daughters Simone Biles, and I went and looked at the men's floor routine. I remember my wife was like, I don't think the men have a floor routine. I was like, yeah, they do. You know what I mean? But you look at the men's routine, men don't do any dancing. Like, forget like what they look like, right? And women wear the one piece, the super ultra tight one piece. But men don't do any of the prancing around. They just get straight to the flips and straight to athleticism. Where women, they might do a split, they might do the sexy walk, they might do something showing feminist energy. Like a lot of it is dancing. A lot of floor routine is dancing. And it kind of not threw me for a loop, where I was like, why do they have to dance? Because they're not cheerleaders, but they're athletes, world-class athletes too, but why do they have to dance? And some of these girls can't dance, right? And so it's like, even in these sports where we try to look at like maybe Simone Biles, she's always pretty much half naked too. We don't like to think that gymnasts are half naked, but they are. I can see everything on the gymnasts' bodies when they're competing. And so, it's not just even like Meg the Stallions. It's a lot of our women outside of the WNBA. Most women are exploited. And I think that's something that women got to change, though. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah. Ultimately, like you said, I have yet to get into a brother car and he like, oh, I'm throwing this new Meg Stallion. You know what I mean? Like, we're not the consummate, because despite the twerking in the video and all the other stuff, we're still not the target audience. The target audience is other females. That's why I brought up, you know what I mean, what your thoughts is too, because that's who they're targeting. They're targeting young girls. They not, dudes, man. I mean, we live in a society today where the porn hub is flowing, right? It's like dudes are not starving for graphic images of women. You know what I mean? That's not even mild sauce Megan compared to what's out there on the internet with your phone in your pocket, you know what I mean, and what's going on out here. So we're definitely not the target audience. The target audience is young women, and particularly club age women, and even high school age girls who are coming up. which is
And I
what
think too, the men get the blame for, like, I think when they sit with the narrative, oh well, if nobody bought it, then it wouldn't sell, and I feel like that's targeted to men more than it is women, and men not buying Megan Thee Stallion albums. You know what I'm saying? Like, or merchandise. Um, and also too, I think the narrative that men really like girls that work, like, yeah, we do. We it is entertaining, but when we start looking for companionship, we don't want that. Like,
exactly.
most of them, like the average man, and you gonna get some of the beta males out there that's gonna be like, I don't care what my girl do, I'm secure with myself.
I love her.
Yeah, you say that. You say that till you see a dude that look better than you with more money on you, dancing on your girl. Then you gonna be going home wanting to.
You walking through Walmart and this motherfucker's giggling at.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Or you walk into, oh, my man having my friend, her girlfriend having a party, and you the only one sitting on the couch by yourself. She talking to all the dudes in the party, and none of them say, yo, what's up? And it's all kind, so I just feel like that's I want to get away from blaming the artists from getting their bag for the over-sexualization, right? Because I mean, Megan looked good. If Megan's half naked, I'm tuning in. And her job, she did her job well. That's her job, right? Like, seriously, like, we can't, like, at the same token, like we've stated on the platform, like, I know I've stated, I don't want entertainers to be the voice for the conscious community when things happen, or even to propel us in the right direction. Allow us to use other people and platforms through you, but sometimes they want to have them be the face. They'll ask Cardi B a political question and just turn the mic on and get all kind of sound bites, and that's really not fair to her. But I think what needs to happen is that women need to police themselves. It has to be some accountability for that. The average, and Kevin Samuels, and women gonna be like, yo, I hate Kevin Samuels. But one thing that stuck with me is that when he told that woman that she was average at best, she was mad. And the thing is, like, men, we know, there's a hierarchy when men are in the room. Like, there's a physical hierarchy, and then when you start getting more information, you start seeing who broke, who this, who that, who probably could bag the chicks in the room, who these chicks are going to gravitate to. There's a hierarchy that goes on amongst men that women appear not to have to go through. And Megan Thee Stallion is not an average female. You know what I'm saying? And I think the problem only comes in when average women start having above average expectations, where we start looking at the reasoning why. And we look, because we're not really mad at Megan for getting her bag and Megan for doing what she's doing. We get mad at the average girl for thinking that she's on Megan's level.
Yeah, you hit a nerve there. And I think you hit a good point there. It's a competitive sport, yo. Particularly with women, man. If you look at the percentages we going on, right? Particularly, like I said, I hate to limit it to just the black community, because every race has a competitive thing going on with the males or whatever. But if you look at specifically the black community, all right, you got incarceration going on, right? You got the people that choose to be part of the LGBTQ community, right? You got people who are just broke, undateable, unsuccessful dope boys who still in a mama crib, right? Just
throwing the scammers in there too, because the scammers is getting the bag right now.
Yeah, the scammers. You got the scammers. You got all these issues, right? So if you look at the grand scheme of things, women have to choose between maybe 25 to 30% of the male population that's actually dateable. And so you throw in this competitive factor on top of the fact that you got this hidden hierarchy and these issues, these hidden things, right? I'm competing with the next woman. That's why women, if you find a woman that has like the same best friends for her whole life, that's like a rare thing with women, right? You got plenty of dudes that had the same 4-5 homies their whole life, man. You went to a woman that had the same like friends since like grade school. It's like, okay, you might be a little different, right? Because it changes. So the competitive nature. So that's why I think it's important when you hit on and said women have to police themselves in this. Like I said, we're not the consummate, we're not the presumed audience for a Megan Thee Stallion. It's up to women to kind of police themselves, and also to take into the fact that, you know, you pursuing this lifestyle while at the same time having to be in competition with other women. Who I'm going to pick? The ones that's trying to pretend to be a fake bootleg Megan Thee Stallion, or the chick that chose to, go to school and get a decent job, and now she's out here doing a thing. She look good. She keep her hair done and laced and all this. Choosing the bootleg Meg the Stallion who wants to be in the club every other week, trying to twerk and trying to go viral and have a rap career. And you know what I mean? Like, who am I going to choose as a male looking for a mate? You know what I mean? So this is my 2 cents on in terms of that. But I think we hit that one out the park.
But even that, like I would say, like they, a lot, and I think that's another bad narrative too, where we got a lot of women that are educated, right, and they got educated and they got it out the mud, right? But because of that, they feel that they're entitled to a lot. They're entitled to the fabulouses. They're entitled to the, there's a lot of beautiful Black women out there, right? But like just looking at the numbers, right, there it says it's about maybe almost 22 million Black women. There's about 21 million Black men. But taking into consideration homosexuality and incarceration rates, right, 1 in 3, and then that being a factor of getting employment, we're looking at probably about 14 to 16 million eligible Black women fighting over 7 million Black men. And the problem is that the women, because of the media and I think them not understanding that that's not real life, don't understand that they, because when Kevin Samuels said you're an average Black woman got mad. Black women got mad, and the thing is, like, if you said I was an average male, I wouldn't take that as an insult. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody say, yo, you're an average male. Well, I'm 5'11". I mean, you start talking about financial, I might probably not average. You know what I mean? But it's like, yo, I'm not 6'5".
But you gotta consider the insecurity too. I think women have to deal with a lot more insecurity than males, man. It's just not the male nature. Like, you call me average, and it's like I'm looking at you. I'm like, I don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, exactly.
But women have to deal with a whole different set of insecurities. Yeah, exactly.
But those insecurities, I don't think, aren't driven by men, and that's what I think the disconnect is, right? And hear me out, ladies. Men, we see, like, if we, so say if I bag a woman in the club and I go back, say we start dating, which doesn't happen a lot, but say you start dating, and that she don't look like she did in the club, we'd be fine with that, right? We fine with that. We see women at their worst. So the insecurities, I don't feel like I've dated women that made way less money than me. I've dated, primarily men didn't require women to have much. We just required sex and peace, and primarily, like, what I'm saying? Like, a lot of men wifed up women in the last 100 years that had nothing, that have nothing. And even now, if you look at it, like if I look at the stats in New Jersey, right? New Jersey, somebody sent this stat to me. I think there's 600,000 women in New Jersey, and only I forget what age group. I want to say it's like between 18 and like 38 or something to 36. And only like 200,000 women work. That's 1/3 of the eligible workforce of women don't even work. But I bet you, if you ask the 600,000 what they will want in the average man, like as far as like financially or what education levels, I bet you it would be something that they're not. Just off the straight data. Like, this is data. You know, now if you're working somewhere getting paid under the table, that's different. But just know that I'm not. It's not too many people making six figures under the table, or making it so you actually have economic impact getting paid under the table. So I think what this over sexualization does, it creates women to say, if I change my body, I will get this. And it's like, no, you're not. You know what I mean? Like you don't even see these over plastic, these women that go out and get plastic surgery. They're not having life-changing impact, life-changing results from a fake butt and new boobs. They just now getting beat down more. That's it. And unfortunately, Megan the Stallion can't save you at that point. Once you hit that wall, and the thing is, our men's wall, especially black men, we don't hit a wall. You know what I'm saying? Our wall might be in our 60s. A women's wall is like in their 30s.
Yeah,
so Megan the Stallion. I mean, and I look at Meg different. She took a bullet from Tory. I don't care what happened. So
that's allegedly, man. That's allegedly.
Yeah, like y'all women ain't doing that.
Yeah, but if you look at even men, man, like it was interesting. I seen a post the other day. Chick was talking about how, she's a high asset, high valued female because she's educated. She makes $70K. She has a bachelor's degree in communications and blah blah blah. So a male has to do this, that, and the third. And I'm sitting here like the whole time, I'm like, that's cute, but can you make 3-course meals? Can you teach my kid how to read? And that's the thing. Like as a male, as that masculine energy hits, we're looking for nurturers. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily somebody who has 5-6 degrees, or who making this much money and all this other stuff. Can you teach my kid not to be a statistic? You know what I'm saying? While I'm out here making this bread and bringing it home. And not saying that women can't go out here and be the breadwinner, but I'm just saying in the traditional sense, most men look for somebody who's a nurturer. So you can have all this education in the world. You can have the fake butt. You can have this, that, and the third. At the end of the day, if you can't teach my kid their alphabet, or to know the difference between no K-N-O-W and no N-O, then we got a problem. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think women need to take that to account, because if you look at the highest rising educated demographic is black women. However, I know so many professional black women that can't keep a man, ain't got a man, can't.
Beautiful ones too. Like not just average looking, like legit 8 and 9s.
Oh man, you go to Atlanta right now. It is a whole community of professional black women clocking close to 6 figures, if not more than 6 figures, who can't get a man.
They got to share a man.
Can't keep a man. Got a baby daddy who ain't on nothing, bailing the dude out to jail. Meanwhile, she clocking 6 figures. It's ridiculous what they going through. And it's because I think so much emphasis has been put on you getting this bag, you being independent, and not enough emphasis has been put on, finding the right spouse, or being a nurturer, make sure the home is taken care of, things like
being
that.
A wife. Being a wife, being a mother. Motherhood to women, you talk to women, even my age, a lot of women are like, I don't want to have kids. Right. And it's like, like I can have kids. I could change my mind well into my 50s if I say I don't want kids, as long as I'm not SNP. Women don't have that option. So for me, it's kind of like, what's up with these finite decisions that impact not just your life, but impact your whole lineage? Like I think that disconnect from who we are and who we want to be. Like, when I used to walk around the city, people used to be like, that's Harold, Harold grandson, and even I didn't know my father like that, but people I didn't even know would stop me and say, oh, that's Mike's son, and I always wanted that for myself, but shape it so the narrative could be told the way I wanted it to be told. Because when my grandfather, there was opportunities awarded to me by being his grandson. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's it's more to me, life is more about isn't just about my time on this earth, it's what I leave here. And I feel like women, some women with their degrees and their money, and then I'm a bad bitch. Let me go ahead and I know what I deserve. Like, I always look at the common rule. You only worth what somebody's willing to pay for. If ain't nobody putting a ring on your finger, you're not marriage material. You got to ask yourself why. If you got all the intangibles, the degrees, you got the money, you got the business, you look good, why can't you find a man? It's the soft skills. And but I don't think that's necessarily Megan's fault, Cardi's fault, Nikki's fault. I think that's the women that see this, they look at their lifestyle and say, well, it's not too much different from me. I've looked, Megan the Stallion isn't a 7. I know a lot of females that's prettier than Megan Thee Stallion. She's thick, but I know a lot of females that's naturally prettier than Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh yeah, word.
And so it's like a lot of these women, instead of saying, "Yo, Megan is on this level," oh, I can be Megan if I choose to. You know what I'm saying? And they don't. There isn't like there's a competitive disconnect amongst women unless they're ops. Like with men, if me and you was to walk into a room, into a bar, and there was a bunch of men at the bar, it's going to be a silent uh engagement going on. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going to be like, let me see. Things are, you're going to be racked and stacked versus everybody else in the bar.
Yeah, you're gonna size each other up. Men
You're going to size each other up, and then when
are.
you see what it is, you can kind of see where you are. And we know that because the women see where you are. You know what I'm saying? In a room full of dudes, if women come up to you, they tell them, that's a key indicator. This is where you are on this food chain in here. And so, I just feel like women, that over sexualization, because I used to say it too, like we need to stop over sexualizing our women. And we still do need to, but it's not men doing it. Like I can't tell women to do, because then the narrative becomes, I'm gonna do what I want. You can't tell me to do with my body.
Yeah, you misogynist. Now you
exactly.
Now you controlling and all this.
I ain't controlling. I'll do what I want. And it's like, all right, cool. But the end result for most women is going to be, they're going to hit the wall at 32, 33. And I tell you, most women, not most, but they're going to have kids. Most men aren't going to deal with you, especially if there's in today's environment, right? Maybe back in our time when we was coming up, when we didn't have social media, but I can go look, if you half naked on the internet with 800 videos and 800 posts of you half naked, I don't want you, because you made yourself readily available to a lot of men. And that's something that hurts our community, because we don't have the numbers to not procreate, to not make decisions based upon lineage and legacy. We seem to be making decisions, like, well, not just us, but women seem to be making decisions upon more what they want and not what they need. And that's hurting us. That really is hurting us in the long run.
Yeah, that's legacy right there. One thing that being a parent, if at least if you're an active parent, teaches you is that you're not the only one with your last name, yo. People gotta live on with your last name, like you saying. That's when you walk down the street, yo, that's woo son, right? You have a legacy, you have a lineage to keep, man. And people don't realize that the things you do gonna come back to you. Like people, I know a lot of people, fantasize about this Kardashian life or whatever. But if you realize that Kim K's tradition is claim to fame is getting smutted down by Brandy little brother, right? So any kid, her kid's rich for life, probably ain't gotta work a job ever in life. Great thing, right? But when they go to that private school and they go in the 8th grade class and everybody's
with other
on their
millionaire
phone,
kids, the millionaire kids don't care about their money.
They don't care about
like,
that.
I watched your mom last night getting beat down by Ray J.
Hey, look at my iPhone 13. Oh, we can watch the HD. We can put it on. We can put Chromecast. We can put it on. We can put it on.
They hack into the classroom and put it on the whiteboard.
Exactly.
It's like, look at North mom.
Your mom takes pipe good. You know what I mean? Ain't no downplaying that. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you got. That embarrassment is gonna be real, yo. And it is millionaires every day. Look at Robin Williams. Look at Brittany Murphy. Look at old boy that played the Joker. It's millionaires every day. Slit their wrists, hang themselves, kill themselves every day in $1 million mansions because of society, because of, the image, because of mental things they got to go through. And so when you look at it that way, you need to be wary of your legacy, be wary of what you pass down to your kids, man. And honestly, trauma is generational. It don't stop at one generation. You hurt people, hurt other people, right? So if you go through some trauma, you're going to pass that down. And if you do some embarrassing crap, that's going to pass down to your kids. If you're doing all this type of this and the third for the bag, man, you got to realize, is it worth it, right? So that's one thing I will say too, you know what I mean? Hitting back to the over-sexualization thing. Stop putting them tapes out there if you know that your kid gonna have to deal with that later on in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you said that. You pretty much said they be twerking the trauma away.
Yo,
they be twerking the trauma away. on a side note, I thought of a great idea though. Like, how like they got the dance games for the Nintendo Switch and all that. We should do like damn. I don't even want to say it because somebody gonna patent it. I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, you better keep that.
We should do like a twerk version because you know how girls be like, I just want to go to the club and dance, which is always a lie, right? They want to go to the club to get attention from men. But when women do say that, like, you know what, babe, I got the brand new game for you. Put it in and it'd be like a twerk game where you score based off of a woman's twerk. You can invite all your friends over. Y'all could twerk all night in the living room. You know what I mean? Like,
you try to do a twerk revolution.
Twerk revolution. Yeah, that's already got the name locked in. We got patent that down. Get some professional twerkers to do like the videos to mirror.
I'm just gonna speak on legacy. And this dude talking about patented.
Are you the one that's talking about they be twerking the trauma away? So I'm just trying to give them a sensible reasons, keep them safe. Because that's the narrative. That's what they be saying. Oh, I just want to get out and get to, have some time to myself. I'm like, oh, sure. You're going to the club tonight. It's like, oh, you could dance. I never understood that when women say, I go to the club just to dance. I'm like, yo, you could dance in your house. I hate that when women say that. Just say you want to go to the club, look good, and have men look at you and probably holler at you, but just so you can reject them. I would much rather hear that than my shorty say, I'm just going to the club to dance. Like, no, just say you want to go get some attention from men and reject all of them and make you feel good. That would soothe me a lot better. But I digress. I really think we should probably try to look into twerk revolution. And COVID's going to hit again, maybe. If it spikes up. And women can have safe twerking competitions from home. I think this is a great idea.
Segue into accountability. Being a thing of the past, right? You speaking on, things that can help our legacy, and in terms of pretty much speaking about Meg the Stallion and things like that. So, that's kind of a good segue actually into speaking on accountability and basically protecting your legacy and things like that. Is this new generation pretty much lost on that tip? Is that not even a factor anymore in society? Do you think, like in terms of being accountability? And Kwame Brown too speaks on a lot of that too. I think that's part of his being a man type of deal, right? Or masculine energy, standing up for what's right. One of the things that you think about is thinking about accountability, taking direct responsibility for your actions. Is that something that's lost on this new generation, you think?
No, I mean, I think just what happens is we have a bunch of losers with a platform now. I don't think it's lost. I think the people that's in it are in it, but I think a lot of the people that, because I'm I don't have no choice but to be accountable in my life. But I move in silence. I don't really talk about stuff, and I'm not on social media posting, my fake life, you know. You know, I think what happens is that you just have so many different avenues for people um, to express themselves. Like me personally, I don't even take advice from people that don't move in some similar light that I move in, as far as parenting, as far as work. You know, if you live with your mom past 30, 30, I'm not even listening to nothing you gotta tell me about anything.
But my mom lived with me.
Yeah, you feel me? So, you know, I don't, you know, but most of the people, you know, I know a lot of people, especially being back in Jersey, a lot of people live with their parents. You know, this is culturally this what happened, so I can't take that away from them. But you know, I can't put myself in the same avenue, and I can't say that they aren't accountable because they do live with their parents, right? I can't say people are accountable because they living off the government, right? Like it's certain things that I don't do, but I can't be the barometer for what is accountable, what's not, because like in a room full of thieves, if I ain't stealing, I'm losing, you know. So, you know, if everybody there, you know, we created these little sub networks of people, where you know you could just go find people like you know, you don't, and you can, you know, a fat person might look at, they're not going to go look at bodybuilders unless they inspire of getting in shape. They're going to look at other fat people living their life. Like a fat person might look at DJ Khaled and say, yo, I want to be like him when I grow up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so, you know, I think accountability is all in it depends on the network of people that you run with. You know, like remember years ago when I started gaining weight, and you know, when I first had my first child, I remember one of the homies in the gym he straight up flat said it. He said, Mike, you getting fat. You need to hit the gym. Like, let me help you. You know, and I didn't take offense to that at all because I knew it, you know what I mean? But some other people probably would have got mad and just avoided it, you know. So it really just depends. I think, you know, everybody, it's easy to say that somebody's not accountable because criticism now turned into hate. You know, like you can't criticize anymore. Everything is straight hate. You know, and so it's hard to even use that word accountability outside of the circle that you run in or the network of people that you run in.
Yeah, and even like you got two levels of accountability. I think you have the micro level, you got the macro level, right? So micro is like, you know, you taking care of your house and home, maybe you taking responsibility for any mistakes or so you made and things like that. But then I think some people also take, if you gotta look at macro accountability, right? Like that's more so the cats like, yo, I can't get a promotion in my job because, you know, the man hold me back down, or more so these days is like, oh, yo, I can't get ahead. I can't stop going to jail because, you know, this white supremacy is taking over. And it's like, you know, we understand that there's definitely racial issues out here. It's definitely just hating type stuff out here. It's definitely just, you know, people out here just on some a-hole stuff, you know what I mean? Holding people back. I ran into quite a few supervisors and things like that, managers throughout my life. But at the same time, you know, at the end of the day, there are people who have made it, right? Despite your situation in life, despite whatever, it's people that's make it. If you want something bad enough, you're gonna go get it. You know, everybody know that. And I think a lot of this generation is kind of taking this particularly like if you look at like maybe even on a financial level, right? You got a lot of people right now not even like want to work a job. Like hard work is frowned upon. Like you a sucker if you work hard. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, we getting 1,200 extra on unemployment plus this and that and the third. Yo, I'm finna do this. Or even on the scamming type stuff. Yo, we cracking cards. We doing this. We got that. You know what I'm saying? Like the goal, it seems these days, is to like, on top of not have accountability, but also, you know, go the easiest route you can go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard to say that they're not being accountable, right? When the system is designed to not have people be accountable, right? Like I can't tell somebody to go make $7 an hour when they're getting that for free, right? Like,
you a
that's
fool.
not even
That's some dummy stuff. Yeah, that's not.
You know, so it's hard because it's like, even in my circle, you know, unless I was super down and out, I would still go work. But that's just maybe the ignorance of me, you know, of saying like, well, I'm not going to use this free money. I'm going to still go out and get it and try to build something. You know, I don't think there's a right or wrong, you know, because I know people that flipped, you know, sat at home and sat there and brushed up on stocks and made 50 grand during COVID, not doing nothing, and or flipped it into businesses, or you know, flipped it into gambling, you know. And I'm not going to say that's a average blueprint, but you know, what works for people works for people. I think the problem comes in primarily when I talk about accountability. I generally talk about parents, I talk about wives, I talk about lifestyle. I you know, I can't tell somebody what to do financially right now. I don't think there is a good financial blueprint, just because we're in transitions of careers. Like, you know, we're in a time now where if you went and got a degree 6 years ago, it's probably voided. The whole infrastructure is probably different from what your degree is in. If you have like a technical or science, if you have like a humanities or communication, or you know, liberal arts degree, then you know there's always administrative positions. But you know, money is kind of scarce. And but you know, when I say accountability, I mean, like, you know, if you know you got breathing issues, you know, put down a donut, you know, put down a fat snack. If you know you got cheating issues, stop. You know, if somebody come to me and they be like, yo, I really love my girl, and in the same conversation and be like, yeah, I got three holes in you know, my DM, I'm about to link with one, then I'm gonna say, I mean, that's cool, but you know, why don't you just don't? You know, like, it just depends on what the context of what the people around me, you know, what the people that I allow accessibility to me, what I require them to do, or who I require them to be, to have that accessibility to me. You know, I don't really generally kick it with people that are bad parents. You know, I can't do that because because of my upbringing. It caused me PTSD. Seeing a man not be able to take care of his kids, you know, in some capacity. So, you know, accountability, I think in today's world, you know, I say we need to hold each other accountable, but you have to define that too. You know, I think, you know, in media, we just see something that we don't like sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, and I'm like, oh, this person, we got to hold each other accountable. Like, no, we need to define what, you know, that accountability is, and give that blueprint, because you know, I can have a friend that's 300 pounds, and you know, I see it a lot. I see people that, you know, across social media that have friends that are personal trainers, and when they go take pictures, you got your one friend big as hell, like on some other shit, and it's like, nah, where's the accountability there? You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about just the look, but health too. You know, we got 49% of people dying from heart disease in the African American community. Why not say, yo, let's get you healthy? You know, and that's just one type of thing. Well, women, like, you know, hey, you know, how about we define what a hoe is, right? So when they won't go out there and be like, oh, well, you know, my body count was high from 18 to 25, but I only had 2 partners from 26 to 32. Like, yo, but you still got 30 bodies, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? We don't say we don't call what things should be. You know, we just, you know, we hear something and then we say, is it up to our own personal standards? We need to standardize these different aspects of life, and define what is accountability in these different sub chapters.
And I think you hit on a important part of that is your personal circle, who you hanging out with. You know what I'm saying? If you know a dude, a deadbeat dad, why you kicking it with him hard body? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to take some accountability to your circles. You rewarding people for being, you know, less than accountable for their own actions by you sitting there supporting them, by you still kicking it with these same people who maybe, you know, a dude out there robbing and pillaging. You know what I mean? You know, a dude out there still slanging poison to his own people. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. you need to, at a certain point, look at it and be like, yo, you know what? I can't rock with that until you get that out your life, until you get that bad element out your life. You know what I mean? I can't support you on it. I will support you in getting right. I would do whatever needs be to help you get through this issue so you can be a better man. But at the same time, I can't support you and sit there and drink Coronas with you like you ain't living foul. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And on the flip side, we look at like the Pooh Shiesty situation, right? Like recently, it was reported Pooh Shiesty was in one of the strip clubs, I think King of Diamonds in Miami, and they say, reportedly, somebody jacked him of 30 grand worth of jewelry, and he shot that joint up. And it's like, well, in his music, he tell you he ride around with the strap, so. But it's people out there like, yo, he's bugging, he's shooting up clubs, yo, he out of control. Well, I mean, we holding each other accountable. He's doing what he said he was going to do. So, we also, like I said, I use that as a kind of a bad analogy because I'm not saying go shoot up the club.
But that's smart though, because it's like with these young dudes. That's a good point too, because it's also I remember years back when Kodak Black was getting into his little trouble, and he said that Master P tried to charge him for mentorship, and like, no, I'm not paying for nobody to mentor me and all this, and then you ended up in the joint not too long after that. You know what I'm saying? That's another part of accountability is man, not being scared of these youth, giving them advice. I remember he was on what's Gilly and Wallow joint.
Damn, I forget the name of that joint.
I forgot the name.
I like that show.
Yeah, it's a good joint. But Pooh Shiesty was on there recently, and
that was actually and they was actually giving him knowledge, and that's they was dropping knowledge on him. I actually that's one of my favorite episodes from the show.
Yeah, but they was throwing them jewels at him. They didn't have to go out there and tell him this and that and the third. They could have just been like everybody else to give him an interview and D-Ride. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you the hottest thing out of Memphis. You know what I mean? What's going on with you? Nah, he was like, man, I'm gonna take a moment out to drop some knowledge on this young brother. And they didn't have to do that. That's part of accountability too. It's take accountability for your youth, man. Dropping knowledge bombs, uncomfortable truth on these kids, man. Don't be scared of them. Teach them what is going on out here. What's the possible outcomes that can come from this? Because they surrounded by yes men, particularly if you in a position where you clocking some money. You don't even gotta be a big time rapper. You can just be a little, mid-major dope boy out in the streets, and you got nothing but yes men around you. So
I like that though. I like that because a lot of the old heads, I hear a lot of stuff from older, I say like the 50 plus generation, and it's these kids out here bugging out. And in my head, I'd be like, so riding around and a bunch of crack and heroin babies and leaving single moms to raise parents wasn't bugging out either. I don't get the disconnect between, they're acting like the 70s and 80s weren't bugging out either. But if you do say that, then, what you hear is, well, the government put that there. Well, the government put a jar of anthrax labeled anthrax in the middle of my street. I'm not gonna go pick it up, open the jar, and snort it either. It's not happening. So, I think we just need to define what culturally, in these different aspects, and like you said, like what I really like the point you made was we got to hold each other accountable because a lot of us are bystanders. Keeping the buck. A lot of us will sit there and watch something happen and talk about it amongst our own inner circles instead of saying, yo, don't do that. Nah, that ain't the way. You know what I mean? Or go do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of my life was like that. People always critique what I did after I did something, but will watch me do it. And then tell me that I knew better. Like, well, how the hell did I know better? I didn't. I was gonna get away with that shit.
Man, I even go completely opposite. I got people that encourage my ignorance because it was a good look for them when they trying to pick up, chicks and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had older relatives in my family, like, oh, yo, my nephew out here. You know what I mean? My nephew's out here. He know all these cats over here and all these over there, and he doing this and that and the third. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had that encouraged to a certain extent. And when I look back and be like, man, y'all really was sitting out here laughing when I'm out here wilding. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was really of a point of entertainment or contention or even proud of that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and what's crazy is that a lot of clout chasing is a lack of accountability, right? So I had a cousin recently. And I guess he was talking to somebody he worked with about this girl he hooked up with. And this girl, it was my cousin's, like, he was a personal trainer at the time. He brought this specific girl to a party. Like, literally, I was laughing so hard at one part on the party, I was on the floor crying, and she just put a titty in my mouth. Now, after that, we continued to talk. She was way older than me, and so stuff transpired, stuff, she did what adult women do when they're talking to 18-year-olds, but I digress. I was on for the ride. But the dude and that my cousin was talking to ended up being her boyfriend. So, the boyfriend was listening to all of this stuff and went back and told the girl, right? The girl didn't go to him. She came to me, like, recently. And it's like, and this happened like 2007, maybe 2006, maybe 2008, but it's 2021. I was like, I'm getting Facebook messages and Facebook calls, and I'm like, what the fuck, this person? I'm thinking it's China, just probably hacked her account or something. And she was upset, and then she's like, your cousin saying y'all passed me around, blah blah blah. I was like, nah, that didn't happen, but then that y'all was doing this. I said, well, I mean, I know what we did. I don't know what y'all did. I'm not with you. I don't even know what person you're talking to. You're not giving me no name. And better yet, what do you want me to do? But fast forward, I was mad. I was going to tell him about himself when I see him in person. I told him what happened. And, at this point, he's not the same fitness guy. He's about 320 pounds, right? So, and it's like, he a shell of himself. So he's probably out chasing that work. And I had to tell him, I said, yo, would you want me to tell your wife? And he got shook. And it's like, oh, why you saying something to a person you don't really know, but you wouldn't tell your wife that story? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like, if you think that make you look cool, but you look like a cornball and you dragging me in it. It's like, but a lot of it be it be people out chasing that be doing the most. Like, if you got a good family, don't go sell drugs. If you know what I'm saying, if you got a good job, or if you got a situation that doesn't require you to do the most, just don't do the most. You're not, what I mean? I see a lot of people getting jammed up for trying to be somebody they're not. And we live in a world of clout chasing. Like, let me go log on to social media, and if you live at home with your mom, I don't care about your lifestyle. I don't care about the chicks you smashing when you got 3 kids. So I and it's kind of like not a direct correlation, but like a lot of accountability issues come from people that run away from themselves. And I know, so for me, I run with all my hitters is very transparent, you know what I mean? And so I don't really know people with bad accountability issues, but
if you keep type circle, but I think the main X factor in all is social media, right? That's the major factors that people try to do things for social media, trying to impress strangers on the internet. I think that's like the biggest trap that you can run into, is trying to impress strangers on the internet.
That's weird, man. That's so weird.
It's weird, but this is what we in right now. People posting things for the clout. They doing things they don't even like just to post it on Instagram. And
what was one of these challenges was stupid. It was the driest. Well, I ain't really gonna say it's stupid, but it was like a dry scoop challenge where you just dry scoop pre-workout and don't drink no water.
Oh, you gotta be crazy.
Like, why?
Heart explode. You gonna have your heart explode, yo.
I had a heart attack. She was 20 and she was a stripper. She said she was dancing and had a heart attack and didn't know she had a heart attack.
I bet you did. Yo, it needs to stop, yo. I think that's, like I said, I think the X factor in all this is trying to impress strangers. I think I'll leave it at that. The main accountability issue: do not impress strangers. Keep your circle tight. You know what I mean? And keep your
TikTok. Oh, we probably get
ain't grown, man.
Saying that, but stay off TikTok. If you want 26, you were grown. If you got kids, stay off TikTok. Don't ask men on TikTok. Don't ask women. Stay off TikTok. That's the number one. Keep yourself accountable. Stay off TikTok.
Exactly. So let's go ahead. I think we're heading to this last one because we were running over time right now. So let's go into the financial news. I know this boy like to hit the financial news. Basically we got the Fed right now. I think old Joe proposed another $2 trillion for I think might be the final stimulus, but they're still
running up the bag.
Yeah, still negotiating that, which is many has been correlating to the path to hyperinflation. We had crypto kind of leveling off. I know Bitcoin hit a high at about around 60K, I want to say. Now it's down to about 30, 35, 36 last I checked. So that's kind of leveling off, which is not necessarily a bad thing. And then, like I said, we talked earlier, we have businesses that reporting, I think we have a record number of jobs, or almost a record number of jobs, 9.3 million or 9.2 million of open positions in the United States that they're still trying to fill. So let's go ahead and tackle these one by one. What do you feel about the hyperinflation? Do you see hyperinflation coming? Should people maybe get off the dollar and take, if you got savings, maybe diversify that joint, get into crypto, maybe get into any kind of investments you can get into?
Man, I got a large crypto portfolio right now. Thanks to our brother Andrews, once he kind of gave us the info, even though XRP didn't do what it was supposed to do. I mean, it did do something, but I jumped in too late.
Did you turn your volume down a little bit? Kind of low.
I don't know. What about now? Test.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So pretty much I jumped into XRP.
Deborah? Went out.
Test.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
I'm getting that message like default.
Oh, I hear you. You sound good. I mean, you got louder, but
yeah, bet. So so I'm doing my research and I'm a technologist. I'm big into technology. I kind of been riding the NFT wave too. My portfolio took a big hit. I followed the Shiba coin, because the Dogecoin wave that I wasn't really riding because it didn't have any tangible use at the time. A lot of people made some money off that. So, I've been kind of following trends and instead of using logic because I'm missing out on money trying to over quantify what things should be. But I think it's important for people to understand certain things that I learned, like when you're on like Coinbase, you don't really have shares of coins, I don't think. And I have to verify. I think you really just have market. You're betting on a market value. So if a coin is $1 on Coinbase, which is a popular trading thing, I think what you're saying is you're betting on a stock of that coin at $1. So if it goes up to $2, you made money off the market. But what's important too is that a lot of these coins you can actually buy. Like you can actually have a wallet for these coins. And that's where I find the value with being that, even if the coin tanks on a market, it's still valuable to somebody that needs it, So I want to throw that out there. I found that to be very interesting that, there's a lot of games and NFTs and things that's based off of coins. So even if the coin tanks and people still want to use it in their network or in their computing environment, it still could have max value, right? So, for example, there's a game called Decentraland that has a coin called Mana on Coinbase. You can go buy it. Say that coin tanks, but the people that play Decentraland continue to play this game. You could probably still sell that whatever NFT or whatever you need that token for more than what it's worth on the market, potentially. Not saying that that'll always be that. So, I would say for people actually start opening up wallets. If you in Ethereum, go get an Ethereum wallet. Don't just bet on the market. Actually have some tokens to use because if the market crashes, then you could still use the Ethereum token for things. So that was that. And then gosh, hyper it's hard because crypto, there's the crypto market. So there's so much of it is owned by the uber rich, and they're kind of playing this big game right now. So it's kind of hard, and there really isn't any infrastructure outside of NFTs that I see a big, tangible use for them. Like, right, because even Elon Musk, when Anonymous kind of when he backed off of people being able to buy Teslas with Bitcoin.
But then he keep his shares of Bitcoin. Him and I want to say who the man that owned the Mavericks?
Mark Cuban.
Yeah, they both got large shares of Bitcoin.
Yeah, they got crazy. Like if they was to sell their shares of Bitcoin, it would tank Bitcoin. Exactly. Right? Like it was shorted. So there's a big game being played by a lot of these hedge funds and a lot of these big investors, where I would say, just know that you probably those investments, I think, are 2 years out. So I know there's a lot of like Reddit pages, or people are doing like pump and dump schemes, right? Where they have these large networks of people, they'll pick on a trash coin and then they buy absurd amounts of it. Then like the trusted people in that network, they wait for that high and then they sell it. And then now the rest of the people that might not be privy to that information of when they're going to sell are going to be stuck with this trash coin. So, I think people need to understand that, and they need to understand the technology that the coin actually powers, because not every coin does the same thing. Go look up, their mission statement or what they do, and I think it'll make for wiser decision makings down the road.
Yeah, they got the white pages. If you go to every crypto coin, they got the white pages, which gives their mission statement, things about the coin, whether it's backed, whether it's mined, or whether it's just some of these coins they just make out the blue. Like, all right, there's 2 billion of them.
You can make any coin. Anybody can make a coin. Like anybody could do it, but for it to be valuable, it needs to circulate within a network, right? Like NBA uses Ethereum. Essentially, they have their own. I think they use Dapper, but the NBA THOT Sh, which sells NBA NFTs, uses Ethereum. So there's use there. Like whatever coin, and not every coin is for buying stuff. Some coins are for like intermediate trades, or for like going from one coin to another, which is useful because the market is always fluctuating. It does it. It's smart algorithms and placeholders. So understanding what the need, like for example, they was using this term gas with cryptocurrency, and it was like the gas prices are too high for Bitcoin to operate in such a manner. And I was so confused, bro. Like I ain't gonna lie, this was like 2 weeks ago. And I literally Googled, why is gas affecting Bitcoin? And really what gas is a term that talks about computing power for mining. But I thought they was talking about like petroleum, like and that was just my ignorance, but understanding what's going on and who's doing what with what, understanding these terms like gas, like and because if you know what gas is and why that's a problem in cryptocurrency right now, then you can be on the lookout for a coin that will have less fees, like who fees might not be $17 a transaction because they use so much processing. So like understanding what the need is for cryptocurrency to be efficient will allow, and then finding the coins that allow for the next innovation for things to be efficient, I think will make for better long-term decisions. I might do something in the Trade Champs group chat on Facebook again, but that was really like 10 of us really holding down and giving people plays, and I didn't really like that, so I try to stay out of that.
Yeah, it was basically 0.1% of the community helping people come up on that joint. Although it was a great idea, I still think you should bring that back. I even want to say, what was that? Venezuela, one of these countries in South America, I think took Bitcoin on as an official currency of that country. Don't quote me on that, but I want to say it's Venezuela. because Bitcoin is less volatile than their own currency right now, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's insane because Bitcoin is volatile,
but it's not even close to the most volatile. I say it's kind of leveling off right now. Last I seen it's hovering in the 30s. So but if you have some of these countries where I want to say, what was that term they coined? It's like wheelbarrow, something to do with a wheelbarrow, where the inflation was so ridiculous. It happened in the African country and happened in one of these Eastern European countries where the currency devalued so much in a day that you could have like a wheelbarrow full of these legal tenders, and it was like worth nothing. You buy like maybe a loaf of bread with a wheelbarrow full of the money. So in America, I think we're already at 5% over the year. We're over 5% in terms of inflation. If you just want to go by the different sectors, energy by itself was up 13%. Last I checked, that was about 3 weeks ago. So it might be even higher than that right now. Just due to the crazy gas prices. Electricity itself is going up. So in summertime, you have more people traveling, right? So that in itself is going to rise prices for things. So you're getting a ridiculous amount. Now, if you pump 2 trillion more, I want to say I read a stat that says 40-something% of all the currency currently in circulation was printed just this past year.
That's crazy.
So it's getting to an extreme place right now. So a lot of people, if you look at the property game, you would think right now that, property would be dropping. Property is through the roof, even in places where you wouldn't even think, like, New York and Illinois, and where places where actually losing population, the property, the housing market is staying the same, if not going up. Because these super rich people don't want to they see the dollar about to tank. So they're like, all right, I'd rather buy real property, real estate. That's why you got to peep the name. You got to peep the words, right? Real estate. This is real money. Me owning land, me owning property is real estate. You know what I mean? As opposed to this fiat currency. So a lot of people was particularly like in states where, they're kind of open, or they open sooner, Florida, Texas, Georgia. Good luck finding a plot of land to buy. And it's just a lot of it is people moving. Also, a lot of it is these rich millionaires and billionaires. Like, I don't want to have a account full of dollars.
Yeah.
I'm finna buy some cribs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that'll always be a necessity. And you're right, the property value, because even in our house in Florida, it's jumped up significantly. In every house around here, like my family was thinking about getting a house out here because we kind of settling in here. But Jersey also has like an exit tax on selling house. So I was like, no, that's not happening. But houses were already high and they threw the roof up here. And it's like, but the cost of lumber it was also high to build homes. Because
that should be only new builds though. That shouldn't apply to houses that's already built. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, at least up here, all these homes are old in New Jersey. And after building a house, I think that I would have to go that route. Because when I built my first house, it just wasn't. I used the already used blueprint when I should have been controlling everything, where the outlets were, where what I mean. Like, so I kind of like that. Like, that's the route I would want to go, unless it's an extra modern home. But every modern home up here, $700,000. Yeah, I'm not paying $700,000 for a house. I'm not.
The problem with that is if you go into an established neighborhood, they want the houses to kind of look alike. So you have to go through their plans. Like, you can deviate a little bit, you can add a little bit or whatever. Yeah. But if you go into a neighborhood that's pre-planned, they gonna want the houses to kind of look alike, because it's just a good look to have all the houses. You don't want some dude with a big, huge house and pink doors and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as long as I got the space, I need the space. But as far as like the hyperinflation, pretty much, I can't say it's necessarily a bad thing, because if you look at it from the span of the workforce, right? Say in the near future, I want, if I'm selling something, I want to be able to cover the cost, the expenses, and the liabilities. Mm-hmm. So I think it depends on which end of the spectrum you're on. I don't think it necessarily only benefits the rich. I think it would benefit a lot of people if they could afford if they have an actual real product, right? People in infrastructure probably get more money. I know a couple people. I know this kid. He's going to like a I forget what it is. It's not underwater welding. I think it is underwater welding. And they threw this kid a bag out of high school. Like they threw him too much money, I think, for a high schooler. But I think then like the energy side, like if you actually have a useful career path, I mean, it's money out here, but
well, the biggest people that were hurt is the retirees because they're banking on those savings account gaining in value. So if you got $200,000, like it's none to us, right? If you still working, if you still moving economically, if you still can navigate, still working jobs and still making different investments, it's nothing to the working class or the people that's currently working. The people that's really going to hurt is the retirees, because if you got $800K in an account that you banking on to live till you kick the bucket, right? With 5% inflation, you just lost, $40,000 of that money because it's not worth as much, right? So that $800K you guys really worth $760. So that's where it hurts. It hurts those cats like that. You know what I'm saying? So even then, it'd be like the NFL, that one NFL player that, asked to get played in Bitcoin because he kind of foresee what was going on. That's kind of where you want to be at. And it sucks because the older people, because they don't foresee what's going on, right? So it's like, I got this $809K in this bank. I'm leaving it right there. I'm not moving it around. I'm not converting it to anything. Like, I'm just going to let it ride out. Well, if it keeps going, you might have to go get a job at greeting at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the 800K becomes 400, that might not work for you, grandpa. So that's where
I was telling my grandfather about like cryptocurrency for that. Like if he had, they on the tight fixed income, but as something to get that quick bag if he needed extra money, like you might want to put some money into this, and maybe in a year or two, you can, because they older, so $5,000 would go long for them. They on super fixed income, so. But yeah, I agree. And then the NFL player, he about to get the big bag while that joint on the low.
Oh well, he got.
They'll probably go back up to like 48.
He got cut.
He did.
Yeah, he gone. He got. I was looking at. I seen it on ESPN had the player who has get paid in Bitcoin got cut in training camp. I'm like, he's about to. You know what?
He didn't even make the practice squad.
Yeah, he got cut. I think he got cut in training camp, bro. Yeah, man, they didn't want to pay him the bread. That might be why too, because he would fluctuate. Yeah, he like changing the game. They're like, you gotta get out the paint, bro.
They said, you actually got an education now. We need these people that actually need us. You gotta go.
Yeah, you want a big smart Negroes, huh? You gotta get it. We gotta get this dude about the
paint. You don't need your kind here, boy. That's what they were saying.
All right, so let's go ahead and wrap it up, dude. Let's wrap it up here. You got anything you want to shout out, man? It was good to have you back, bro. We missed you here at the Harshfield.
Yeah, likewise. Not too much, you know what I mean? I've just been I just want to shout out the millions of and I don't want this to be shout out everybody, but my black sisters and brothers, mothers and fathers, daughters and sons. I've part of the reason why I've taken the absence was to get my health in order. I did have COVID, but post COVID, I had to take a look at myself, and the subject of accountability is taken into play. And I'll say go get checked out. Everything's fine over here. But I took my physical health and made it a priority, and really had to put that time aside for that. But one of the things is when I was going through and trying to figure stuff out that was going on with me physically, I wasn't talking about it. I was going down the Google rabbit hole. I would say talk to somebody. That's what your doctor for. Call your doctor and go get checked out. If anything I learned from Chadwick Boseman's death was that he probably died due to not talking about what was going on with him. with colon cancer and you know, I'll get granted there's some things you can't have no control over, but there are some things that we do have control over. And I would say, you know, heart disease and just how we eat, how we drink. Let's clean this up. You know, heart disease rates for Black people are way too high. We're looking at like 40, almost half of us have some kind of cardiovascular disease. And that's that's just too crazy, you know. And it's hitting us a lot earlier. Colon cancer is hitting us a lot earlier. You know, they went from 50 to 45, and in reality, it probably should be like 32.
Oh yeah, I done had one of my screenings, bro. You're not playing no games about that.
Yeah, I just had one. You know, you kind of inspired me. That's why I say go out and talk, because talking to you, you know, it made me feel more comfortable to go ask for it, you know. So I went down that path and I got checked out and you know, I was cleared, you know, but you know, I was having some symptoms and a lot of it was diet. I cleaned up my diet, all the symptoms disappeared. So I've seen that I was poisoning myself just being on the run. So, you know, I want to see I'm seeing these big kids out here, man. I take my kids to the park and I'm out playing and I'm seeing kids just big, man. Like some of these little kids are just way too big and it's sad because there's no dad around. Like that's the common thing I'm seeing is moms on the bench with their phone and these kids don't even know how to be active. And you could tell that they probably are being fed to death, fed to babies, you know, the babysitter's food. You know, let me just feed them till they full and want to pass out, you know, and that needs to change. You know, that's you know, when you want to ask what value that men bring, men like sports. And you know, like I'm gonna be competitive. I'm gonna teach my son how to be competitive, my daughter how to be competitive. I make them do push-ups. My daughter can do a 20 clip right now. She's 5. Perfect push-ups. You know, my son can't, but you know, we always working. We don't quit, but you know, let the men be men in the household. Don't stop telling them they too hard on the kids. Some of these kids are too fat, man. I'm just call it what it is. It's not cute and it's not fair. And you're not setting up a lot of these young men to be chosen when they get older. You know, you're gonna create incels. You're gonna create these beta males, and really hurt their confidence and their ability to understand how to be confident by poisoning their body. So let's please do better in that aspect.
Word, I could not have said that better, man. And I agree wholeheartedly, man. Get that tablet out your kids' hands, man. I know it's an easy route, right? If you tired, you've been working a double shift, you want to get that little rest, and it's the easiest route is to put this tablet, put this phone in this kid's hand, let them watch YouTube, let them play Roblox all day or whatever. But get that out your kids' hands, man. It will benefit both of y'all. Go out there, go fish. It's summertime. Go fishing, man. Go to the lake. Go out here, get some fresh air. And spend time, because at the end of the day, it'll actually energize you. Getting that sun on you, doing things with your seeds, things like that. It'll actually get you right. It'll clear your head mentally and also physically right there while you getting that air and that sun and everything. And a big part of his fathers too, man. And I know knock to the mothers, because this mothers out here doing they thug dizzle hard body. But at the same time, man, we need these fathers out here. Teach these babies, take these babies fishing, man. Take these babies hunting. Take them on a jog. Take them do things you like. Take them to the boxing gym if you into boxing. Take them to the MMA, things like that. So I think that's a great note to wrap that thing on, Joe. And like I said, man, I appreciate you back, El Miguel, man. It's been a long time coming, bro.
I mean,
go ahead. What you say?
No, I was gonna say, like, even in the earlier episodes, man, my health was affecting my speech, where I was having to clear. I think I was having like acid reflux due to my diet, where I was always having to clear my nostrils and clear my throat. No homo, but you know, that was a big thing for, you know, like I was suffering. I would have to mute myself and like when it would give time to talk, I have to unmute instead of just letting it rock. And it don't sound like much, but it was an annoyance that didn't go away over like a year, you know. And there was something wrong there, where I thought I was having like throat cancer, or, I don't even smoke, so Google was telling me I'm gonna die in 3 years pretty much. So
that WebMD will tell you it'll be like, it could be a cold, it could be minor inflammation, or you may have, throat cancer. You'd be like, whoa.
And you'd be like, if you've been experiencing this for this long and the x-ray come back with this, then it's probably stage 3 and you need to go get chemo, stuff like that. So and I, it was one of those things where, I was in work, full-time job, full-time dad, full-time school, and I was just juggling too much. And that's one thing. And somebody said this on IG. I've seen it. It was saying like this hustle culture it's all a game, right? And I'm a workhorse. I've always been a workhorse. My grandfather told me to be a workhorse, but I think we need to work smarter, not harder.
Word.
I was doing the most, and it was somewhat beneficial, but nothing is more beneficial than extending my time on this earth, and that's for everybody. Like the more time I have to spend with my children and developing them and being active with them. When my son says he want to go do something, I do it. My daughter want to do something, I do it. That's what's important. So, if your job is asking you to do way more, I would say find something that different. And and like even this, I wasn't even to record some nights just because of just lack of time. So we need to reevaluate how we take care of one another in our community, and hopefully, and this time off is over, made me think that I actually want to go into teaching as well. So,
word?
Yeah, because I think with my IT background, and I can, I think my calling is teaching, and I think I'll be a good teacher. I still, I kind of have a lot of people that reach out to me daily and ask me for advice. And I want to be able to give kids in my community a blueprint to make money, because not all jobs can be, I hate the notion people like, oh, just go start a business. Like that's not, that couldn't happen if everybody started a business,
they try to oversimplify something that's multi-stage, man.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah, I hate that too. But like I've had the pleasure in my life to learn a skill that will always be here and it'll always be needed. And I can pretty much find work anywhere in the world. If I knew multiple languages, I probably would be somewhere else in the world.
Word, get out of Dodge.
Yeah, for real. And I could go straight to work. And there's something that wasn't, I was an accountant major before my time in the military. And what I do now has nothing to do with accounting. Full-fledged IT engineer, even though like if you person met me in person, they probably wouldn't think so. But I've done things in Florida with some high schools where these kids were coming out of high school making 65K, 70K in IT. And I know these aren't things that are taught to, like, at least the high school where I grew up in. These aren't opportunities that are offered, nor are they probably even looked at like they're cool. But I tell a lot of these kids, getting that bag is cool. Getting that bag is going to get you whatever you want, whatever woman you want, whatever you need in life. Make sure you could take care of yourself first, and then, start fine tuning everything else after. So yeah, this time off has allowed me to do that inner digging. And I've been rooting from the sidelines, listening, to all the guests on. So I thank all of them as well, for helping continue the platform grow and build. But I think, for me, I just needed that. There was a lot going on, and
you had to hit the reset button. It's like Nintendo back in the day. You had to get the reset button.
You had to pull the cartridge out. You had to. Everybody had their own thing. I used to like pop it in, pop it out a few times, and then give it a couple. I'm about to say something. I don't want to say the H word. I already said it like twice already. I don't want to get.
EBI.
You gotta be careful. You know what you know, right? So, but
right. But definitely shout out to the Harsh Reality Presents guests, man. I had a pretty good slew of and I try to get more, masculinity. Shout out to Koku who came on and but it was kind of harder to get males than females. It's kind of ridiculous. Because it's like I invite dudes on. It's like, all right, come on, I want to talk to you, brother. Blah 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 blah. Then day comes like, oh well, But then it's like talk to the women out here. They like, let's roll when you want to rock.
I mean that kind of show you the culture that we kind of talk about, right? The role reversal where women out here rocking. I say things about women, but I'm not meaning all women. I really believe that women. And we see it, right? On one of the episodes we talked about, I think it was one of these banks offering $1 billion to Black women. They know who out here getting this bag. You know what I mean? Like, as much as I hate to say it, but Black women out here rocking, and women in general out here rocking. We just kind of need to bring in everybody and make sure that we're rocking for one another. So shout out to all the women and men that kept the ball rolling. And and Sharice, I had Sharice up too.
I talked to Sharice, man. Shout out to Sharice, man. I talked to her the other day too.
Yeah, I hit her up today. Just like, I ain't seen you posting a minute. Everything good? She said everything good. And she was the first female co-host on the show. So never take that away from her. And kind of miss her too. She had that.
You know what? I'm gonna throw her a compromise. See if we can get her back on, man. I'm trying to get Sharice back because, like I said, I do miss Sharice, man. I don't know if she's gonna continue with the Queen's Council, but I'm gonna try to bribe her back onto the Harsh Reality. And if you're listening, we be in negotiation, Sharice, man. It's good to see you back. But on that note, man, I'm good. I'm glad to see you too, man. Back on the health wave and talking about that. I think there's important things to talk about, man. Particularly when it turns to health, and a lot of people avoid that subject, and even the subject of taking some time off, get yourself together, right? You know what I mean? People think that's taboo. That's a great thing, bro. That's a very good thing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna keep it rocking. Why you gotta do what you gotta do? But we back, baby. We back rocking.
We back. Hopefully some bigger things happen in the media. I try to stay away from the ignorant stuff that has more impactful meaning. But like I'm down for all of it. You know what I mean? I like the Kwame topic today because I was during this time I was binging Kwame Brown videos at work. Binging them like, oh, he killing them. He killing Stephen. I was like, he killing Stephen A. Smith. They got a whole subtopic on ESPN about Kwame Brown. Like, so hopefully we can get some more meaningful. There was some stuff I wanted to talk about tonight, but I didn't know if it would flag in regards to the current the presidency. I don't
know. We kind of been all right the last couple episodes. So I think
this one would have been bad though. What I wanted to say would have been it was so many articles and videos and just the hypocrisy of what I was seeing that I had a whole list of things that I was just keeping track just to because people were posting. I was like, man, is this real? And it was real. Like stuff was checking out, and I was just like, and it just made me mad. Cause I'm like, Black people were bamboozled so easily. Like,
oh man, bro, I want to go in on this one. We in fact, we gonna go in on that joint. I don't care. Next, we gonna let this one rock just to get it back established in the next episode. I'm going ham, bro, because the CD dudes with these certain shirts on, with these certain slogans, capping for different peoples. Meanwhile, your people getting screwed over and whatnot. That ain't gonna fly, bro. These people gonna have to get called out on their hypocrisy, yo. And people are a lot. It's funny how everybody was a political pundit back in October. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was capping. I don't hear no politics talk on Normie book, on Fed book, So
I'm still waiting for anti-Black bill, which we already said they not going to pass because they don't need to pass it. But all these Black people telling me I love Trump because I didn't like the other racist guy running for president that created all these bills that probably a lot of my family up in points in time and history, you know, and all this other stuff. So, you know, it just really makes me upset because the research that I put in that I would present to people, which is blindly ignored, willfully ignored, not blindly. And now we're faced with obvious neglect of our issues.
Terrible.
And like even in where I'm from, there was a incident where I guess this gentleman was running and he represents, you know, the old Plainfield, New Jersey, where I'm from. And you know, I guess somebody put out the stats that he only got like 2,200 votes. And you know, people were like, this is why I don't like black people, they not voting. And so I just went and looked up the demographic and it's 63% Spanish. It's like even if every black person voted, they still didn't have to vote, you know? And it's like, you know, just the ignorance. Like you got to understand politics and who they're going to cater to get what they want. And I feel like we did ourselves a disservice as seen, right? Like now I'm starting to see a lot of these people that was so pro Joe, and now they posting memes and stuff against him. And it kind of aggravates me in all honesty. But maybe we should do a topic next show on those people because there was a lot of them. Maybe we should probably even invite some of them on to ask why they chose to vote.
Old Joe voter, that might be hard, man. They
see
hide,
the dumb.
bro.
They probably wouldn't come on because they would get killed. They probably be mad. But just know that if I invite you on, I just think you can't beat me. So just know that. No, if it gets spicy, you know the level I'm turning up on you. So just know. But yeah, man, I appreciate being back too.
Yeah, appreciate you. All right, so let's go and wrap it up on that note. Salute to Rod. Go ahead and get that baby out of there. Get that baby. You gotta start walking. And salute to everybody out there listening, man. I got a couple of requests, man. I got definitely some good responses in terms of running the ads and good responses on, I had to poke fun at you a little bit on El Miguel coming back. You know what I'm saying? I had to expose the text a little bit, but you'll be all right.
I know, I seen that. I said, yeah, that's the first time he done that. I said, he actually missed the kid. I was like, oh, you gotta get back. Get back.
Word. So on behalf of everybody at the Harsh Reality Podcast, I gotta say peace.